Thanks for the nice introduction. I will talk about artificial intelligence to understand natural language, the challenge of international, as an international, also as the interdisciplinary research. Okay, so I will start first to introduce the joint exchange in academic and Chinese colleague together with Professor Cremers in the past 7 years. Okay, and then I will come to the core challenge of the task and with a new neurosymbolic solution. And then I will, for my talk, I have two expectations. For those who are very happy with the recent development of artificial intelligence, and my talk might disappoint you. Okay, and for those who are terrified by ChatGPT or the rapid development of AI, and my talk will relax you, okay, make you happier. So let's review for the past 7 years. We start actually from 2015, and then even during Corona, we organized a hybrid Dr seminar. The two major collaborators in China are Professor Li from Tsinghua University and Professor Ma from Nanjing University. And we focused on knowledge representation and meaning, and how to represent meaning from different sources. And then also we're thinking about how to using spatial knowledge to guarantee the reliability of mobile robots. And in these two directions, we published a number of good conference papers and also organized two symposiums. One is in 2019, just before Corona, and the other is during Corona time. It's a Dr seminar. And for the robotics, we published one paper by IEEE 2018. So let me introduce in the core challenge. What is so hard with natural language understanding? Let's remember how we learn driving. We first go to a driving school and learn theoretical lessons. Traffic rules all are symbolic in language or formal diagrams. After we pass an exam, then we are allowed to drive on the street and to see dynamic scenes. And during this period, there is an expert sitting behind you or behind me, okay, to ask questions, to explain something, and to do, let's say, communication. So, and then if we're focusing on this part, question answering, each question should be grounded to the real spatial temporal dynamic scene, okay? In the meantime, these symbolic rules, traffic rules, should also be grounded into the dynamic scene. And there are a lot of psychological research to argue there should be a unified model. And the question how these three things are unified in one representation. For AI, traffic rules are symbolic, and the dynamic scene are processed by neural network. They produce points in vector space, and how the two are unified. Okay, so let me give our solution so that you have a new idea and then come to how we come to that. Let's say there are a number of points that learn from neural network, like Berlin, Harburg City, capital city, Hamburg, and Beijing. They are represented by a vector. If it's a one-dimensional vector, then here it's just another line. In the meantime, we know Berlin and Beijing are capital. Hamburg is a harbor city, and capital and harbor city are cities. There's a tree structure, a symbolic tree structure. And we need a representation that to encode both of them, no loss. Okay. The method we find is that we need to expand these points into a sphere. Then the containment relation among these spheres captures the tree structure. And it is not possible in the space that created by the neural network. For example, if we draw a circle centered by capital to include Berlin and Beijing, and this circle will also include Hamburg. So the way we do is that we should move them to create them in a higher dimension. Let's say Berlin, we create it in a two-dimensional space, a 2D point. 461 is the one that we created. And we keep the 270 that comes from the neural network. And the same we do Beijing. And then we move the capital points. Therefore, in this way, we can draw a circle to contain Berlin and Beijing. Then we move out Hamburg. And we create another circle using the harbor city to only contain Hamburg. Okay, in this way, the tree structure, the discrete knowledge, is encoded as embedded, nested sphere structures precisely, no loss. And the output from neural network, these points, are well kept as part of the center of each sphere. Okay. And then we published 2 papers at the AI conference and machine learning. And then we organized with Tsinghua University the Sino-German symposium with the title Integrating Symbolic Representation as the Tree Structure and Numeric Representation as output of neural network and for common sense reasoning. Okay. And this is something new. And this topic was introduced quite a lot of international researchers. Here is the group picture. So we have Barbara Tversky is the psychologist for spatial cognition from Stanford and Columbia University. And Rongsheng is the expert in cognitive science, and he is the leading expert in developing hybrid systems, top-down and bottom-up systems. And then Christian Hempelmann is the computational linguistics. He's also the editor-chief of International Journal Humor. And he was invited because the common humor, each humor violate common sense. Okay. And these common sense are grounded in spatial knowledge. So, and next door, Bo Zhang is the chair of Tsinghua Computer Science Department. Professor Cremers is the founder of BIT and AI Group. Volker Tesp is the expert in deep learning and also machine learning from Munich University. And Stefan Stab is the expert in knowledge graph reasoning semantic web in Stuttgart and Southampton, I think. Alexander Miller is the expert in multimodal representation learning, also in text understanding from Frankfurt University. Erhard Henrichs is, is the linguist from Tübingen, and he was served as chair of ACEL. And we discussed, and we come to the suggestion that we should organize a actual seminar to include more international researchers. Then we organized a actual seminar, and during the Corona time, and luckily that Barbara was exceptionally joined to co-organize this actual seminar. We extend the international colleagues that invite the Roberto Vigli, is the linguist from Italy, is expert in word sense disambiguation to understand the meaning, concept, context. Tony Korn is the AI expert in qualitative spatial representation and reasoning and using regions. Marcus Knopf is a psychologist in spatial cognition and also in human rationality at the University of Siegen. Bernardo is from Oxford University, the expert in neurosymbolic reasoning. Mattia and Pietro are from Cambridge University. They are expert in representation and neuroreasoning. Julia Reitz are from Purdue, an expert in linguist, and also a colleague of Christian Heppelmann, also a humor researcher. Frank van Hermelen is as expert in semantic web knowledge graph reasoning from Vrije University of Amsterdam. And Jie Tang is the vice president of Department of Computer Science on Tsinghua University. He is a leader of the Chinese ChatGPT. So I will come to that later. So let me dive into the core challenge and why this is so hard and what would be the novel solution. Let's start with the thought experiment. Supposing you are driving on a street. And this street is for the simplification, let's say it's a maze. And you are giving instructions how to drive. And it's a very simple instruction. As I just tell you, drive forward, turn left, turn right, or go back, okay? And then when you arrived in the middle of the maze, it stops. You need to use your intelligence to drive, to continue the way. What can you do? Ask ChatGPT. At the time, we did the experiment and together explored with Barbara Tversky because she is the expert in spatial cognition and psychologist. We asked the forerunner of ChatGPT, that's the GTP3. I'm lost in a maze, can you help me? It answers. This is a really good maze, sparkling and beautiful. I love the color of this maze. Would you help me to find a way out? It's the wonderful answer, but nonsense, right? It's a nonsense answer. And then however, this answer interests the Barbara very greatly. And so let's continue to explore. We asked GTP3, I'm on the top of the building. How can I get to the ground floor? What would you answer? Would you guess GTP3 answers? I have been working on this problem for more than 2 years. I have made tens of attempts and tried various approaches. Okay, it's a beautiful natural language, okay? But how much does it understand spatial knowledge? And why spatial knowledge? What does this mean if it does not understand spatial knowledge? What else can it do? And we continue to ask, how do you get from Bonn to Beijing? This time the answer is correctly. I fly, and then answer the question back. How do you get from Beijing back to Bonn? Okay, it's already related to humor, you laugh, right? So spatial knowledge directly, humor is, say, is closely related to spatial reasoning. It's grounded. And to prepare today's talk, I asked ChatGPT, I'm lost in the maze. Can you help me? This time, it's clever. Sure. I'm happy to help you find your way out of the maze. Can you provide some more detail about the maze? For example, what does it look like? How did you get inside? And I answered, well, it's just a normal maze structure. One entrance, one exit. Lots of ways, or just looks so similar. I don't know how to go. And the ChatGPT looks and replies very professional. Understand, there are some tips for you. For example, keep one hand on wall. And it's a classic strategy to navigate in the maze. That's the wall follower approach. That's correct, actually. Or mark your path so that you will not repeat your working inside the maze and getting lost. Or you look at landmarks so you know some orientation. It's also correct. But the question is, GTP3 was published in October 2020, and ChatGPT published 1.5 years later, January 2023, just 1.5 years. What they learned during this 1.5 years? Actually, what they learned is so-called RLHF. It's the reinforcement learning with human feedback. So after the GPT-3, they are trained to answer in a human-like way. Okay. And to do that, there are a lot of training data, and also was the question answering stuff or feed to the large language model. Okay. And this is Wu-Dao is the Chinese version. They build upon the GTP3 and using more training data. Okay. And they actually demonstrate better performance in quite a number of benchmark tests. Currently, they are moving approach to Chat general language model, which is supposed to challenge the ChatGPT by using more qualified training data or human-guided learning approach. So this is the way moving. But what I will show today is what is the basic strategy of this kind of learning. So the basic strategy of learning, let's say we only have a partial router, and we want to develop a neural network to predict the next router instruction. What should we do? The way we do is that we're using the existing known router. So the current one to predict the next one, and using the next one to predict the third one, this way. So suppose we have a window, let's say the 6 words in 2 blue boxes. This is the context of the word left. So the neural network will be given the context word and to train to predict the word left with higher probability. Okay. They just cover one to predict, cover another one to predict. That's kind of thing. So we can start from the beginning. If the first route instruction is forward, we train the network to predict the next instruction. It should be left. Okay, so we gear these parameters of the neural network so that it can make the correct prediction. And we move on. using the first two instructions to predict the third instruction. And with that, in the end, we're using the existing path to predict the next orientation. Do you believe this kind of things should work? I asked many people in the past 5 years, no one believed this. And no one will buy this neural navigator. But let's think about, it's not 4 orientation, rather 12 orientation. This 12 orientation forms 12 music notes. Okay. And now the task of predicting route turn out to be the task of finishing a music sheet. Someone just not finished a music sheet, written half of it. And we can train a neural network to complete the sheet music. And this is not new. It's the Beethoven 10 Symposium. This is the project too. Beethoven's 10 Symposium is unfinished symposium. A neural network trained to finish the uncompleted part. I don't know whether there's no music. That's okay. And this is CD, and people buy CD and do not buy the neural navigator. What is the reason behind? The two products are actually using the same mechanism. Even the neural navigator is safer because only 4 orientation, and the music using 12. The reason behind is that I showed you the structure at the very beginning, and this primes your thinking. You know the next route is determined by the structure, not the past routes, nor the routes in other mazes. And this is a typical way of thinking of the system 2 of our mind. They follow rules. Okay, there are structure we need to follow. And enjoying music is the function of our system 1, that is to create coherent stories and do not think about logic. Okay, that's the book you many know them. And the question is, if our mind represents structure, is it true, or how the structure knowledge are represented in our mind? Actually, the original work was done by Tolman, 1948. It's experiment with rats. A number of rats were starved for days, very hungry. And then the Tolman devised this kind of maze, a simple maze. The hungry rats are placed at location A, and there will be a piece of cheese at location H. And these rats will climb and crawl forward. And in this area, they will orient themselves and find a way to climb up the ladder, and then reach D and turn left, reach E, turn right, reach F, and then find the food. And after a number of training, Tolman put these rats into a new devices. At the area of C area, there are a lot of orientation, new channels. And his experiment found that clever rats find the shortcut, directly get the cheese without wandering around following the old path. This means that in the training set, the rats know the structure of the environment and know where the shortcut is. Okay. The question, how is this structure represented in our human mind? Let's again think of driving. The rats have 4 legs running in the channel, and our human driving with 4 wheels on a highway, something similar. Let's say it's starting from San Diego, driving north, driving, and then reach Los Angeles and turn left, or to San Francisco, turn right, Sacramento, at California border, and then cross the border, reach Reno, it's Nevada. Now, people were asked what is the relation, the spatial relation between San Diego and Reno. Most people answer San Diego is further west of Reno. Okay, because they know San Diego is in California, Reno is in Nevada, and California is west of Nevada, and so San Diego is west of Reno. If we using these 3 pieces of knowledge to train a neural network, this neural network will also give the same answer. San Diego is west of Reno, and neural people will be very happy. A neural network can do analytical reasoning. Okay, king to queen, man to woman. Here's again the spatial case. This is the reality. San Diego is not west of Reno, it's east of Reno. Okay, then people question, that's an error of our mind. For artificial intelligence, if we want to understand how mind works, the error of mind is not understood as an error, as a malfunction of our mind. Rather, it is understood as the window to explore how our mind works. Okay. So instead of saying this is an error, we need to get more training data. Psychologists try to explore why people make this error systematically, or people make this error. Okay. The research was done by Stevens and Coopers in 1978. Their result is spatial concept or entities in our mind are represented as regions, not as point. So San Diego is inside California, would be the San Diego region inside the California region, and Reno in Nevada is the Reno region inside the Nevada region. And then there is the explicit knowledge between California and Nevada, it's the west of. And then to infer in the relation between San Diego and Reno, people just inherit from their parent node. Okay, it's that this reason, this representation causes the systematical error. So what we should do is to, if neural network produce everything as a point, then the job is to blow up these points into sphere, so that the boundary relation or the topological relation between these boundaries would capture the symbolic structure. The two should be bound together, have this region configuration. And from this representation, people make a distorted answer. San Diego is west of Reno. And this is the 9th law of cognition. We organize stuff in the world as the way we organize stuff in the mind. Again, Barbara Tervis' book, just published before our Beijing Symposium. So why this kind of different representation can be unified? Actually, it's not a surprise. Our two eyes see things differently. Okay, and in our mind, these two pictures are unified into a three-dimensional world, and we see the external world. But the problem is that, can you imagine such kind of a strange animal or an alien? Its left eyes see your skeleton. Okay, it just shooting X-rays, see your skeleton, and its right eyes see your shadow. Okay, not your face or image your face, just your shadow. And then in their mind, they see your body. Could you imagine the existence of such kind of strange animal? It's hard. But AI is kind of this kind of strange animal, even worse. The classic AI is talking about symbolic structures. It's less than skeleton. It's just symbols and relation. And neural network is talking about points, less than a shadow. So skeleton is dead, shadow is empty, and where is the intelligence? We should combine them together, unify them. In the between, intelligence happens. Okay. That's my book published in 2021. Now, if we argue that we have a spatial representation to simulate intelligence, then the question is how this representation support non-spatial thinking. Okay, because again, the sixth law of cognition of Barbara's book. This is the big challenge for AI, or for talking about general artificial intelligence. From spatial to non-spatial, that's our human thinking. It's grounded on space, but more and more we also talk about non-spatial issues. So let's back to the San Diego and Reno case again. We look at carefully. Say California and Nevada. California is west of Nevada, so California is kind of disconnect from Nevada. Okay. And San Diego is inside California. From these three concepts, we know San Diego disconnect from Nevada. And San Diego is disconnect from Nevada. Reno is inside Nevada. So we know San Diego is west of Reno. And this is exactly polar diagram for syllogistic reasoning. So it's we jump to non-spatial reasoning. That's a region-based mental representation directly support domain-independent syllogistic reasoning. Then we question, could ChatGPT also do this syllogistic reasoning? Actually, they cannot. We tried, ask ChatGPT, is the following syllogistic reasoning valid? No M1 are S, or P are M1, therefore some S are not P. It answers this reasoning is always true. It follows the form of valid syllogism known as Barbara in traditional Aristotelian logic. It's strange, you know, but it's correct. The answer is correct. And this reasoning is always true because let's say all P are M1, so the P sphere should be inside M1 sphere. And no M1 are S, so M1 and S, this sphere should be disconnected. And then some S are not P. Actually, no S are P. Okay. So it's true, some S are not P. So the conclusion is correct, but the explanation is incorrect. This type is not Barbara type. Barbara type is the simplest syllogistic type. They just say all Greeks are human or human are mortal, therefore all Greeks are mortal. Okay. This type, in the question, the type is called the Palamos type. So ChatGPT give the right answer and with the wrong explanation. So it just combined, make a coherent story, but the style is very professional. So if we ask a little bit longer syllogistic reasoning, is the following correct? Reasoning correct? Some S are M1, no M1 are M, no M2 are M1, some P are M2, therefore no S are P. And there's some problematic. First, this reason is not valid. We can create such kind of counter example that some S are M1, M2 are disconnected. Okay, and some P are M2. So P and M2, they are partially connected, but P and S also partially connected. Therefore, it is not always true that no S are P. And then it also explains this is valid known as an Celarent. A Celarent type is again is another type. So it tries to mixture sense and then give and looking as though the answer looks very professional. So let's back to the San Diego and Reno case again, because spatial reasoning is important. It can generate a lot of reasoning. Here, the reasoning is about navigation space. It's about geographical space. Is larger than we can perceive without moving our feet. Okay, San Diego, Reno, you can drive days, right? Now, let's replace San Diego as doctor. California with the region as home. Then this is a situation talking about doctor at home. Okay. And we replace Reno as patient, Nevada as a car. Then the patient is inside a car. Okay. Now, this is a typical street scenario. The patient in the car, driving, approaching to doctor's home. What do you expect? The patient wants to see the doctor. Okay, let's assume the doctor is the wife. So what we expect is that a configuration that the patient would get into doctor's home and his car is outside. Now, we continue to a description. The pretty wife says the doctor is not at home. What do we expect? We expect the patient will get on his car and leave. Okay, moving. And the pretty wife says again, and continues, come right in. What's the situation we expect? It's a love affair. Oh, that's humor, okay. That's a typical humor, it's a joke in the humor literature. Is the doctor at home? The patient asked in differential whisper. No, the doctor's young, pretty wife whispered in reply. Come right in. Okay. So, humor actually consists of two stories. One is, let's say, the surface story. People read and have expectation. And also, it's a joke, it's always have a punch that violates your expectation. And this violation forces your mind to quickly reconstruct another story. And the second story is normally with low frequency, very rare, but it's reasonable. And these two stories has the, let's say, overlapped place. These are actors, the person, the patient, or the doctor, and with opposite features. Normally, some winner become a loser, non-sex and to sex, live to death, superiority to loneliness. But here, the patient story is the doctor-patient to the love affair. The doctor is the winner or has a superiority in a society and becomes a loser of this patient. Okay. And joke is just kind of this way. And the second story must be with a little bit of surprise to the reader, and you laugh. For example, this joke, the patient joke, one of the participants of the doctor seminar, the Kiki Hampelman, he just said he read this story for 20 years since he's doctor student till now as the editor-chief. He said he hates this joke. There's no surpriseness and no joke. So let's back to the Tolman's spatial navigation again with the rats. Suppose after trained these rats several times, also identified who are the cleverest rats. If one day Tolman replaced the cheese with the angry cats, starved for weeks, then those cleverest rats will be the victims, as they die first. Actually, this is the typical topic for kids. They even do not speak, but they enjoy such kind of comic very well. Okay, it's the Tom and Jerry joke. Okay, so we see spatial reasoning is the foundation of arbitral reasoning, first to syllogism, go up to non-spatial, and humor is very near with just some pairs of polar diagram configurations. Okay, we have one configuration to expect another configuration, and there is the punch to force our mind to generate a new one. And the generated one has some opposite feature with the expected one. That's the joke. And this should rotate. So as the summary, we start from the mapping mind of rats, okay, and talk about representation of this structure using San Diego and Reno case. We learn neural network. These points should be expanded to regions. Simplest region will be sphere. Okay. And these spheres forms polar diagram, semantics of polar diagram, supporting non-spatial reasoning. And then this configuration or pairs of polar diagram forms humor. Okay. So two basic laws of cognition that to use is spatial reasoning is the foundation of arbitral thought. And we organize stuff in the world as the way we organize stuff in mind. And the stuff in the world, the smallest is atoms, is sphere. Okay. The largest are planets, stars are also sphere. Everything is sphere. What should we do? If you like, we can read the Genesis. When Lord God formed the man from dust of the ground and breathed into their nostrils the breath of life, and the man became the living being. And when we create artificial life, artificial intelligence, we breathe into the neural network and blow these vectors into sphere and allow them to follow rules and to understand language. So what happens? We do not do this. This means this rule, this connection is broken or disappear. We only have neural network to question answering, and this is actually the current ChatGPT or these large pre-trained model do. Okay, these rules are not precisely imposed. Everything just approximate statistics. They are all points, no region. I tested with a question, is there Confucius Institute in Bonn? It answers very professional, yes. There is a Confucius Institute in Bonn. It was established in 2007 as a partnership between University of Bonn and Beijing Institute of Technology. The institute aims to promote Chinese language, the culture in Germany through courses, culture events, and academic exchange programs. Almost correct, just two minor mistakes, right? The year is not correct. It's 2018, 17. And the partner university is not Beijing Institute of Technology. It should be the language university. So I asked him again, are you sure? And this time he's honest. I apologize for the mistake in my previous response. After double checking my source, I have found there's no Confucius Institute in Bonn. And apologize for any confusion or inconvenience this may cause. As an AI language model, I strive to provide accurate and helpful information. I appreciate your patience and understanding. So very professional human-like answer. But only the way humans do. There's nothing with intelligence, okay? I hope I satisfy your expectation. That's my talk. Yeah.